Hello and welcome to episode 11 of our Let's Play of the Two Towers. In the last episode we defeated the dragon, and we also defeated Saruman's army at Helm's Deep, and we began our march to Isengard so we could confront him. And we made a little detour to help some eagles here in the mountains, but now we can resume our journey to Isengard. So you'll just want to continue back to the north along the path that you came in. And we'll get to this intersection here, and we'll want to go to the east. And just keep following the path. One of the Fellowship frowns. I have seen this before. The rocks here are so weathered that the slightest movement could cause an avalanche. One of you notes, the slopes are unstable. The dwarves called these places greed graves, and it is said the greediest delvers in the old dwarven mines forgot to support their shafts and were buried in rock slides. It is very dangerous. Yeah, so this area is similar to the caves underneath Helm's Deep with the stalactites, where everybody will take a bit of damage if you try to walk through here after you get that message. But this time we actually are able to do something about it, so we can use Gimli's devices skill. Using the skills learned from the dwarves, you lodge stones to provide better support. You safely cross this dangerous section of the pass. And if you don't have anybody in your party that has the devices skill, you can also just use the rocks that you picked up on the riverbank outside of Helm's Deep. So either one of those will work there. These men guard the pass to Harryarn village of the Dunlenders. So there is peace at last, the leader says. I thank you for your courtesy. You may travel to our village unharmed. And since we traded the sword to Prince Burlag, I think, those villagers were not hostile to us. So we can just continue along the mountain pass here. See paragraph number 202. Yeah, we already got this one as well. It's the same old man that we already talked to. So he's just there as well, depending on which of these paths you take into the village, he will be there on either one of them. But when you exit the mountain pass, you just want to continue around this tree and then head to the east. The attack has ended. All about you is Ent-created devastation, except for the tall pillar of Orthanc, which withstood the attack. Yep, and we actually are at Isengard now, so we'll just take the path in here. And we'll find the two hobbits that we've been looking for. At last you meet the comrades that you had spent so much time pursuing, eating and smoking pipeweed, looking very comfortable. And we can recruit them back, make them get back to work. One of you notes that this is the sort of place where a wizard might place a hidden door. We can actually use our perception skill here. You have found a secret door. Do you wish to enter? And we'll be in the tunnels under Orthanc. This door is solid and locked. Well, we actually already have the key now that we have Pippin and Merry back in our party. One of them should have the Saruman's key. A storeroom stands revealed, with rope, torches, knives, pipes, lockpick tools, flints, and shields. So if you want any of that stuff, you can take it. I think there's nothing else in here, but I'm gonna leave it all there for now. Nothing in this room, it's just sleeping quarters. Yeah, every time you go to one of these doors, it's gonna say that it is solid and locked, but the Saruman key will work on all of them. This storeroom contains food. There are barrels of pork, loaves of bread, and wheels of cheese. Does anyone need healing? Yeah, we'll give some to Éomer and Theoden. Yeah, we'll just use those real quick. And if you remember when we were exploring these, the tunnels under Orthanc with Merry and Pippin, this is actually the area that we chose to save for later. The door is solid and locked again. But there are just a few fights that you could trigger in this area that might be just hard with only them, so that's why I chose to save it for now, when we have our full party back. Anyway, we'll use Saruman's key. Oh, and actually I don't think there is anything in this room. let's try this one over here. This storeroom contains barrels of what seems to be tobacco. Yeah, and there's pipeweed and a torch that you can take. The tobacco is Longbottom leaf, from the Shire's crops of 1417, among the best batch. How odd that Saruman has such an ample supply. Maybe that has something to do with the Sharky shipping company that he set up on the borders of the Shire that let him bring the pipeweed from there. Yeah, so this is the other part that you already explored with Merry and Pippin and the Ents. Remember the obelisk that was here. So we will just go back the way we came. In this room, there's a battle you can trigger with some humans. I couldn't find anything in the room though, so I'm just gonna choose to ignore it for right now. What's in here? Doesn't seem to be anything in this area. The attack of the Ents have silenced the great engines of Isengard. They are beyond repair. And here we have a secret exit out of Isengard. So we'll just go back in that way. And keep exploring the rooms. Find Pippin with the Saruman key. We might have to bring him closer to the room. Yeah, he was like all the way back here. So that is one kind of annoying thing, that the person that has the key has to be like close to your leader. Otherwise, they won't show up in this area where you select the characters. The heavy, watertight door opens, revealing a chamber filled with books and scrolls. Atop one high shelf is a large piece of what appears to be tree bark, with odd letters, the likes of which you have never seen before. So we'll take that with us. The tree bark looks very old and appears to be written in a tongue you have never seen before. The bark looks like it may be quite valuable to someone or something. And then we'll explore the last room. And there are actually two doors here that we'll need to use the key to open. The attack of the Ents have silenced the great engines of Isengard. They are beyond repair. This room is an armory. There are some weapons and armor lying here for the taking. If you want any of these weapons, you can take those. But there actually isn't very much that we're going to do with these characters, and there aren't even really any fights left, I don't think, that are mandatory anyways. This is where the wizard would place his hidden door. So that's all we need to do in the tunnels under Isengard. So now we can head to the tower to confront Saruman, and we find the Ents here. We can talk to them. Several Ents are here, and they are pleased to see you. Whom, so you have come at last, Furcombe says. We are happy to have been of assistance to you. Saruman glowers at you from a high window. When you try to talk with him, he walks away. Gandalf says, we must find some way to confront Saruman. Perhaps now that he is defeated, he may be persuaded to return to a course of wisdom and help us. Saruman will not be pleased that he tries to Sauron will not be pleased that he tried to seize the ring for himself. And you can't actually talk to any of the Ents here. And I thought you would have to do something with that tree bark that we picked up here as well, but I couldn't figure out how to do anything with it. So if anybody has any insight on that, that would be appreciated. But we can actually recruit the Ents. We can only recruit one though, because we only have space for one more person in our party. So we'll take Quick Beam with us and enter the tower. So we have some guys over here. This room appears to be the servants' quarters. Several young men in simple tunics spot you and gaze at the fellowship in obvious fear. And you can talk to them, but I couldn't really find anything useful to get out of them. They just tell you to where Saruman is. Oh, and there's a key you can pick up if you don't already have the Saruman key. Same thing here. If you go in this room, well, the Saruman key should be in this room. Maybe it triggered when we were down here. But yeah, if you don't have the Saruman key, you can get one in here to explore those tunnels underneath the tower. These men are obviously guards, but you can't see what they're guarding. We'll have a little fight here with these guys. We should be able to make pretty short work of them. Just have to get everybody close enough first. And then you can pick up an elf cloak and a magic sword and an elf brooch. And these are actually the items that were taken from Merry and Pippin when they were captured by the orcs way back at the beginning. So you can take that stuff if you want to. And then we'll head up to the next level. The air is filled with the musty smell of books and scrolls. The room is lined with shelves full of ancient volumes of lore. And you can pick up some skills for your characters here. It doesn't really matter because we're pretty much at the end of the game and we won't be able to transfer these skills over, so just give them to whoever. One parchment reads, "My spy in Harryarn has been doing a fair job of acquiring the eggs. His presence in the town also acts as a good set of eyes in case any venture in to oppose me." And we get a little hint about the eagle eggs. In case you haven't already done that quest, it'll kind of point you in that direction. And there's a guy in this room, but can't really talk to him either. So that's all we need down here. So we'll head up to the 3rd floor. Nobody down in this area. So we have a locked door here. And even though it gives us the same message as the doors in the basement, we can't use Saruman's key on this one. We actually picked up a word of power in the library down there, Adro. We can use that on this door. The huge doors groan, almost as if they were acting against their will. Finally, they burst open, revealing one of Saruman's most secret chambers. This room stinks of herbs, chemicals, and birds. The room is a laboratory. A beautiful eagle lies imprisoned in a cage, while 2 horrible winged creatures, which only faintly resemble eagles, shamble towards you. And just like with the eagles in the mountains, I couldn't figure out any way to help them, because they just attack you immediately, so we're just gonna have to fight them as well. And when you defeat them, you can get their eggs. We'll pick those up, and a healing draught. Flapping his wings to test them out, the eagle hops to a window. "My thanks for your aid. If you ever find the need for our aid, speak Manwë, and help will come." The eagle flies off. Alright, so there is another chamber on this floor, but this is Saruman's bedroom. And if you go into this area, you'll have to do a little fight with him. But we can trigger something similar by going up to the top floor, so we're going to choose to do that instead. See paragraph number 41. You recover from your dizziness in time to feel an icy wind blast you. Above your head, clouds roll in ominously. You stand amazed to find that you have been sent to the pinnacle of Orthanc. There is no way down. You can see for miles all around you since you are at a very great height. The smooth black stone of Orthanc offers no comfort, no shelter from the cruel winds. This is a place of despair. So we can get help from our eagle friends. I think you can use Manwë or Gwaihir. Maybe not Gwaihir actually. You have to use Manwë. And then we'll get brought back down to the ground. And we'll get paragraph 65. Gandalf walks up to the entrance of Orthanc and looks up at the balcony. "Saruman, come forth," he shouts. After a few minutes, the balcony door opens, revealing Saruman the White, a kindly old man, clad in a great cloak. "Who disturbs my rest? What vile thing could I have done to deserve such treatment?" he asks in a kind but sad voice. "But regardless," Saruman continues smoothly, "I know 2 of you, Theoden King and Gandalf. I would speak first to the Lord of the Mark. Ruin comes to you soon, and despite the injuries inflicted upon me by the Rohirrim, I still offer you my help. Theoden appears to consider Saruman's kind words. The writers of Rohan are enraptured at Saruman's eloquence. Finally, the king steels himself and responds to Saruman. Your voice has lost its charm, Saruman. You are a liar and a corrupter of men's hearts and minds. There shall be no peace until you and your works are thrown down. Foolish horse lord, Saruman spits. I do not need you. And you, he says, looking at Gandalf, I expect better of you. We are different from these simpletons. Why do you consort with the likes of them? Join me. Come up to my tower, and together we will defeat Sauron and rule this world the proper way. Everyone holds their breath until at last Gandalf laughs. Saruman, you should have been a jester. You do not understand me at all. No, I will not come up. But rather I repeat my offer for you to come down. You shall not be harmed. Saruman sneers at Gandalf. You are obviously drunk and not in your right mind. Come back and talk when you are sober. Saruman wheels about and heads back into Orthanc. And we'll get paragraph 186. Saruman, come back, Gandalf demands in a commanding voice. I did not give you permission to leave. Saruman is dragged back to the railing, gasping for breath and clutching his staff tightly. You are a fool, Saruman. You might have been saved. You were given your chance, Gandalf declares. For behold, no longer am I Gandalf the Grey, whom you betrayed. I am now Gandalf the White. You have no color now, and I cast you from your order and from the council. Saruman, your staff is broken. No sooner does Gandalf utter those last 5 words, when Saruman's staff splits asunder, bursting to a cloud of wood shards. Dismayed, Saruman flees back into Orthanc, just as a globe is hurled from a higher window. It bounces to the ground, narrowly missing your heads. A parting shot from Master Wormtongue, no doubt, Gandalf announces, but of little consequence. Let us leave this place. Suddenly a globe of crystal flies from a high balcony, almost striking you. The murderous rogue, one of you mutters, but it is obvious that the globe was not thrown by Saruman, nor would he desire to lose it. You'll want to take the Palantir. That object is most valuable, declares Gandalf. It is a Palantir, and Wormtongue committed a grave error by hurling it. It is best if I kept it, though I would not wish to use it. Any who use it more than once invites death. And that's the end of the section with Gandalf and Aragorn and everybody. So now we'll go back to Frodo and Sam. Having survived the perils of Minas Morgul, the Ringbearer prepares to enter the pass of Cirith-Ungol, the only way to Mordor. So we'll enter this cave that we found at the top of the stairs. So before we go to this area, we're just going to do a few things. If you have anything with Gollum, you can go ahead and get rid of it. Especially if he has a weapon equipped. He's going to attack you soon, so you don't want him to have any weapons to help him defeat you. And we'll get rid of some of Sam's, like the shovel and that stuff, because you'll need to have some room in Sam's inventory. Okay, so after you do that, we can start exploring the cave. There's a horrible smell from within the tunnel, as if filth unnameable had been piled and hoarded within the reek. Hey, Gollum's gone. That's why you wanted to discard all his items before you started walking forward, because he leaves pretty soon after you start walking in the cave. So we'll just have to continue without him. The webs are incredibly thick here. They would appear to be impassable. The star ruby from the dead marshes suddenly begins to burn, as if it had become alive. So you actually are able to use the star ruby here to burn the webs, but if you choose to do that, you'll take some damage on Frodo and Sam. They'll get burned as well, so you'll want to just use Sting instead. With all of your strength, you cut the web. You are almost through. Then you can keep going after that. Joy at getting through the webs turns to anguish. There is something in the dark that strikes the Ringbearer, knocking him down, dragging him into the darkness. His possessions are shorn from his fallen form. Frodo Baggins is leaving the Fellowship. So that's why you want to have some space for Sam, so you can give some of Frodo's items to him. So you'll want to give him the ring, Sting, and the Mithril Mail. And we have some space, so we'll give him the Lembas too. and that's everything that Sam's able to hold. So then Gollum attacks you after that. And we'll actually switch our weapon over to Sting and the Mithril. Because Sting is a more powerful weapon than the Barrow Dagger. And Gollum shouldn't be too hard, especially since he doesn't have a weapon. Then he just runs away when you defeat him. Gollum yelps and flees into the shadows. His plan has failed, for now. Alright, so now we just need to find the ring bearer. Coming from the distance is the most loathsome shape you have ever beheld, horrible beyond the horror of an evil dream. Like a spider she is, horned and pitted, moving with great speed, running on creaking legs. And you actually are able to use the Phial of Galadriel if you took it from Frodo, but since we didn't, we're going to have to attack Shelob instead and do the fight with her. Yeah, if you had the Phial, you wouldn't have to do this fight, so just a little bit easier to get through. But she still shouldn't be too difficult, as long as you have Sting. The Barrow Dagger would make it a little tougher. And she also runs away when you defeat her. The spider is wounded and moves away, leaving a trail of venom behind it. But your joy is short-lived. Your friend, the ring bearer, lies prostrate on the ground. There is no sign of life. The spider's evil poison must have killed him. You are lost in grief for a long time. He is dead. You must complete the quest without him. Then you hear cruel voices. Orcs are coming your way. Many orcs. You must not be seen by them. You hide just as the orcs approach. You listen to the orc voices. They are laughing and telling tales of torment. Shelob does not kill her prey, but her venom leaves them looking as though they were dead. Your friend is alive. They are moving, taking your friend away. They move beyond a set of double doors, singing hoarsely. Blaring horns, clanging gongs. The great doors slam together. Boom! The gate seals with a clang. Your friend is alive, but taken by the enemy. And that ends the section with Frodo and Sam, so this actually is the end of the game. We'll get a little ending cartoon here. With the presence of his enemies revealed to him by the Palantir of Orthanc, Sauron decides to move his forces against the city of Minas Tirith, capital of Gondor. Saruman is beaten, but a far greater threat remains. And so ends the second part of The Lord of the Rings. Not in triumph and glory, but in uncertainty and deadly peril, can Gandalf, Aragorn, and the other members of the Fellowship save Gondor from the armies of Sauron? The Ringbearer is trapped in the dreaded tower of Cirith Ungol. Can he be saved? You have done well indeed to bring the ring this far, but the quest is not over yet. The ring must be taken to Mount Doom and destroyed for all to be set right. To be continued in The Return of the King, coming soon from Interplay. One ring to bring them all, one ring to find them. One ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them. Yeah, and so that actually is the end of the game. And unfortunately, there would not be the third part and the conclusion of the story. We only got The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship, and The Two Towers. So this will be the end of the Let's Play series. So I want to thank everybody for joining me, for sticking with it, for their patience, at helping me finish the series. Like I said at the beginning when I started, I always loved Volume 1, the Fellowship game, growing up. I played it a whole bunch, just trying to find all the secrets and discover everything and just really immersing myself in the game. And then as I got older, I found, The Two Towers and was able to play through that one as well. So yeah, I've really enjoyed making the series, kind of bringing this to to more people and having more people exposed to the game. So I want to thank everybody especially for their patience. I know there was like a huge length of time for these last 3 episodes. You know, just life happened. You know, a lot of big changes, and my life looks a lot different now than it did when I started the series. You know, so that being said, I do want to continue with other games, other old like PC games, kind of in the same vein. But I've learned my lesson, and I'm gonna make sure I record everything before I start putting them out, so I can kind of release them on a set schedule. Especially now that, like I said, I'm just at a different point in life and have more like, you know, adult responsibilities and all that stuff. But I do already have the game in mind I want to do next. So again, thank you everybody for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video.